In a stadium filled with 95,000 souls, under the weight of unimaginable loss, a president stepped to the podium, not to divide, but to unite in remembrance. His words for Charlie Kirk, the bold voice for freedom silenced too soon, rang with the power of ancient emperors honoring their fallen allies. What if I told you that this modern tribute echoes funeral rites from Rome's golden age, rites that shaped empires and inspired generations? Today, on Hidden Historical Tales, we respectfully explore these presidential tributes and forgotten ancient eulogies, revealing how words of honor bridge the ages. Stay with us, for in honoring the past, we light the way forward. Welcome to Hidden Historical Tales, where we gently unearth the forgotten stories, mysteries, and lives that shaped our world, stories of courage like Charlie Kirk's, who dedicated his life to empowering the next generation through Turning Point USA. In this special video, we reflect on the profound tributes at Kirk's memorial on September 21, 2025, where President Trump and others gathered to celebrate a life cut short. We'll compare these heartfelt words to the ancient eulogies of Roman leaders, revealing hidden funeral rites that remind us, true legacy endures beyond tragedy. If Kirk's story of faith, family, and fearless advocacy inspires you, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell. We release weekly videos to keep these voices alive. Let's journey respectfully through time, honoring the fallen and illuminating the path they left for us. State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, transformed into a sea of quiet resolve. On September 21, just 11 days after Charlie Kirk's tragic passing on September 10 during a speaking event at Utah Valley University, over 95,000 people gathered, not in anger, but in unity and faith. This wasn't just a funeral, it was a revival of spirit, blending worship with words of enduring hope. Christian artists like Chris Tomlin and Carrie Job Carnes led the crowd in song, their voices rising like a chorus of light in the darkness of loss. At the heart stood Erika Kirk, Charlie's devoted wife and new CEO of Turning Point USA. In a moment of profound grace, she shared her forgiveness for the accused, Tyler Robinson, a 22-year-old charged with the unthinkable act. "We choose love over hate," she said, her words echoing Charlie's own commitment to truth and compassion. This act of mercy moved the stadium to tears, reminding us all of the strength found in Kirk's Christian faith, a faith that guided his work mobilizing young Americans for liberty and justice. Vice President J.D. Vance followed, calling Kirk a martyr for the Christian faith, not in division, but as a call to carry forward his mission. Vance spoke of Kirk's role in building the conservative movement, from campus debates to national stages, always with a heart for the overlooked. And then, the president himself, Donald J. Trump, flanked by administration leaders like Pete Hegseth and Stephen Miller, took the stage. In a speech that wove eulogy with resolve, Trump hailed Kirk as our greatest evangelist for American liberty and a giant of his generation. He praised Erika's poise, embraced her on stage, and vowed, "We will carry forward the torch of liberty that Charlie Kirk held so proud and so high." Trump's words, delivered with raw emotion, weren't just remembrance, they were a pledge to protect the values Kirk championed: free speech, family, and unyielding patriotism. This gathering, with its blend of prayer, music, and tributes, showed how one man's life rippled across a nation, inspiring voter registrations on-site and a renewed sense of purpose. In moments of profound loss, how do words become bridges to healing? Let's turn now to the ancients, where eulogies did just that. To understand the power of Trump's tribute, we must step back over 2,000 years to the heart of Rome, the Forum. Here, amid marble columns and the rostra's sacred platform, the laudatio funebris, the funeral oration, was more than a goodbye, it was a living history lesson. Rooted in the mos maiorum, Rome's unwritten code of ancestral virtue, these eulogies weren't whispered in private but proclaimed publicly, ensuring the dead's deeds echoed eternally. Imagine a procession winding through the city, the body on a bier, flanked by actors wearing death masks, imagines maiorum, of illustrious ancestors, dressed in the togas of consuls and generals. As the crowd gathered, a family member, often a son, would ascend the rostra to deliver the laudatio. This wasn't mere grief, it was propaganda for the living, extolling virtues like pietas, duty to family and gods, virtus, courage, and fides, loyalty. Polybius, the Greek historian who witnessed these rites around 150 BC, marveled at how they inspired youth. The speaker praises the virtues of the dead and recounts the successes of his ancestors, kindling a fire in the hearts of the young to emulate such nobility. Take the eulogy for Lucius Caecilius Metellus, consul in 284 BC. Delivered by his son, it survives in fragments, lauding Metellus as a defender of the Republic who saved sacred treasures from fire and led triumphs over Carthage. The speech wove personal anecdotes with ancestral glories, reminding listeners, from our forebears, we inherit not just blood, but the flame of honor. This right wasn't reserved for men. Elite women like Cornelia, mother of the Gracchi brothers, received public laudations, rare honors that celebrated their influence on Rome's moral fabric. But these eulogies had deeper mysteries. Delivered from the rostra, where Cicero once thundered, they blended poetry and politics, often exaggerating deeds to bolster family prestige. Cicero himself, in De Orator, described the laudatio as the art of immortalizing the mortal, a tool for young orators to shine. Yet, hidden in the pomp were forgotten layers. The law of the 12 tables mandated burials outside city walls to ward off ritual pollution, symbolizing how death, though mournful, purified society for renewal. Could such public praise heal a grieving empire, much like it did a stadium of mourners last week? As we delve deeper, we'll see how emperors elevated these rites to divine heights. In the imperial era, eulogies evolved from family affairs to state spectacles, where emperors like Augustus and Trajan used them to forge unity and divinity. Augustus, the first emperor, set the tone after the Republic's fall. At the funeral of his ally Agrippa in 12 BC, Augustus delivered a laudatio that transformed grief into propaganda. Agrippa, the engineer behind Rome's aqueducts and victories, was praised not just as a friend, but as a pillar of the new order. He who built our peace with his hands now rests in the gods' embrace. Delivered publicly, it linked Agrippa's deeds to Augustus' vision, inspiring legions and citizens alike. Historians like Suetonius note how such orations, laced with divine imagery, blurred the line between man and God. Augustus even deified Agrippa posthumously, a rite that echoed in temple dedications. Fast forward to Trajan, the soldier emperor of the 2nd century AD. At the funeral of his adopted son and co-emperor, Hadrian's predecessor, Trajan's eulogy, preserved in fragments by Dio Cassius, painted a portrait of unwavering loyalty. In battle and council, he stood as my shield and sword, his valor etching Rome's borders eternal. This wasn't flattery, it was strategy. Trajan used the laudatio to rally the Senate and army, recounting shared conquests over Dacia while invoking ancestral masks to invoke Rome's unbroken chain. Forgotten today are the rituals that followed. Bustuarii gladiators fought around the pyre, their blood a symbolic offering to the manes, the spirits of the dead, ensuring the allies' shade watched over the living. These imperial tributes carried mysteries too. Women like Livia, Augustus' wife, influenced eulogies for fallen statesmen, their whispers shaping narratives of fidelity. And in times of crisis, like after Germanicus' suspicious death in 19 AD, Tiberius' guarded laudatio sparked whispers of poison, reminding us how words could heal or haunt. Yet, at their core, these orations were acts of profound respect, turning personal loss into collective strength. How do you think Trajan's words would resonate in today's halls of power? Share below. Now, let's weave these threads together, respectfully drawing parallels between Trump's tribute and ancient Roman eulogies, parallels that illuminate Kirk's enduring light. Just as Augustus honored Agrippa's engineering of peace, Trump's words celebrated Kirk's brilliant arguments and mobilization of youth, calling him a martyr for American freedom. Both leaders used the moment not for division, but to pledge continuity, Trump vowing to defend reason and open debate, echoing Trajan's rally against threats to the Republic. Erika Kirk's forgiveness mirrors the Roman emphasis on pietas, duty that heals. In Rome, a widow's influence shaped laudations to honor shared sacrifices. Today, Erika's grace, praised by Trump as a hard thing to do, inspires a million more to step forward, as Don Jr. urged. The stadium's worship songs parallel the hymns sung at Roman pyres, offerings to the gods for the fallen's safe passage. And like the Imagines Maiorum displaying ancestral masks, the memorial's voter tables ensured Kirk's legacy, empowering the young, lived on. These connections reveal a timeless truth: tributes aren't endings, they're ignitions. In Rome, a well-crafted eulogy could launch a young orator's career, just as Kirk's story now fuels a generation. In bridging ancient rites and modern resolve, what hidden strength do we find in honoring our heroes? This is the power of history, not to dwell in sorrow, but to rise renewed. As we reflect, Trump's speech at Kirk's memorial, with its calls to carry the torch, mirrors the laudatio funebris, public praises that immortalized Roman allies and inspired empires. From Augustus' vows of peace to Trajan's tales of valor, these ancient eulogies remind us that words, spoken in honor, transcend time. Charlie Kirk's life, cut short yet boundless in impact, calls us to the same: live boldly, love deeply, and leave a light for others. In remembering him, we honor all forgotten voices of courage. If this journey through presidential tributes and ancient eulogies touched your heart and sparked your curiosity about hidden history, smash that like button, subscribe to Hidden Historical Tales, and hit the bell. We're committed to uncovering stories of resilience like Charlie Kirk's, week after week. Share this video to keep his light shining and inspire others to explore the past. Thank you for joining us in respectful remembrance. In the echoes of eulogies, history whispers: rise, remember, renew.